Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this one more time now. Awesome. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait some more. Okay. We're in business now. It's working. So I got a little bit of time here to kill. So might as well answer some questions, give some advices. Connect. Someone told me that connecting with people is better. So let's take our first question over here. Funding talent or FTMO? That's personal preference. FTMO does challenges. You got to pass a challenge. Funding talent, they don't have one of those challenges, so it's basically open-ended for funding talent. So there's a bit of a difference between the two. Okay, sweet sweater. Thank you. I have 4 of these sweaters. I like them so much. I bought 4. All right, let's take our next question over here. What's a good pip? What's a good pip range to take a trade? That's a really good question. A really good pip range for me personally is around 20 to 25 pips. If I know that the range is 20 to 25 pips, I'm going to take a trade in that. But also you got to make sure your spread, you know what your spread is, right? If your spread is, let's say, you got a 4 pip spread or a 3 pip spread and your range is like 15 pips. So 15 pips minus 3, you got 12 pip range. From that 12 pip range, we're not really sure if price is actually going to go all the way up there or not. So so basically you need around like 20 to 30 pip range to take a trade in that range. So that's something what I like. I like to have like a 20 to 25 pip range to take a trade in that. Let's take a look here. Is $1,000 a good balance for trading for an 18-year-old? Man, when I was 18, I didn't have $1,000. I didn't have $1,000. I had my first $1,000 when I turned 23. So I think you're in a very good financial spot right now if you got $1,000 to trade. So I think it's still pretty good. I would say if you're thinking about starting with $1,000, instead of $1,000, start with $500. Go slow. If you feel like you're consistent with the $500, then only then add the rest of the $500. Because if you blow your $500, you still have the $500 left, right? So you're gonna feel much better with that rather than blowing your $1,000. Yeah. Let's see here. When is the broker dropping? Broker is not dropping. It's actually rising. Probably going to be, so we're going to be doing, we're doing testing this week, next week. Probably we're going to be 100% on by February. So we'll see how that goes. It's a new business, it's a new venture. So pretty excited for this. Let's see here. All right. What's this? What type of volume and volatility should we expect for the rest of the month for pound yen? So this is important from the perspective of, let's say, so the new government is now coming in, right? New government is now coming in. They're going to have their new fiscal policies. They're going to have their new monetary policies. So based on those policies, it's going to depend where everyone else, language barrier. But yeah, like what I want to say is the volume is going to come back because now they will decide where they want to go with the policy. So that's going to bring volume back. I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words at this point. So excuse me with that. All right. Let's see here. This is, what lot sizes should I use on a $10,000 account? If you got a $10,000 account, you need to understand what risk are you willing to put on per trade and per day. For example, if I have a $10,000 account per day, I'm willing to risk around, let's say $200 a day, $150 a day. So that's like about, one lot, 1.25 lot. So that's what you got to identify first. Like how much money are you willing to lose in a day, or in like a trade, and then go from there. So I would say like 1 to 2% is pretty good. When does volume come back in the markets? Volume comes back in the market when the banks and institutions just start trading in. Because what I was saying before was that when this new government is taking shape, they will have some sort of reforms in place. They will have some sort of policies in place. And based on those policies, you're going to have banks, institutions, and hedge funds coming back into the market. So when these big whales come back into the market, you have volume in the market. And which is why we've been saying like there has been no volume over the past 2 weeks because no one has been in the market. The market has been moving by the algos and retail traders, for the most part. So once these big institutions and banks come back in the market to take their positions, that's when you're going to start seeing volume come back up again and you're going to be frozen. Okay, yeah, we're back. Okay, what's this question here? When I'm taking first trade in month, should risk be less at beginning or is it based on our trade? Your risk should always remain the same. If you're trading for the first time, the first month, first week, whatever, your risk should always remain the same because the biggest mistake traders make is, let's say, if you're using a 50-cent lot, right? If you're using a 50-cent lot and then all of a sudden you want to use like a $1 lot. So when you use a $1 lot and you take a loss on that lot, what's going to happen is now automatically you want to reduce your lot size. But when you reduce your lot size, and if you do win the next trade, you're still going to be in net negative because now you reduced the lot size after you lost the trade on a bigger lot size. So you always got to keep your lots the same. That's one mistake I used to make. Why don't you swing trade? Because I'm not comfortable with swing trading. I'm more of like a day trading kind of thing. Like come on the charts, one session, one trade in the morning, and that's all what I look for. What would you suggest to someone who traded to save everyone he loves and for self-approval? I would assume there was money lost, and I don't know, man. Like if you did that, I think you traded with emotions. Please DM me. Oh. All right, what's this? I lose 3 FTMO account and I'm still going on. I will never give up from this. See, man, listen. For people who have lost 3 FTMO accounts, who have lost 2 FTMO accounts, just calculate the amount of money you lost over there, right? Calculate the amount of money. And then if you haven't invested in education and you're still continuing to invest in FTMO to see that you can still make money, man, you're doing it wrong. You gotta educate yourself. You gotta invest in education. You gotta get a mentor for yourself. That's what I did. When I first started trading, I deposited $200. I lost that $200 in a week. And then I decided, hey, you know what? I need someone to guide me, man. I need to invest in some education. I need to invest in a mentor to guide me. And that's what I did. I invested in Ted. Ted's been my mentor since day one. And man, it's been amazing. So get yourself a mentor, get yourself some education, and then go about those things. Why do people dislike day trading? Shame it even. I think people dislike day trading because a lot of people who lose money in day trading. Like a lot of people who can't day trade, they give their money to people to trade it for them. And when they lose it, they shame everyone for day trading because they get scammed that way. That's why people shame day trading. That's why they dislike day trading. Because one, they don't have enough discipline to day trade. Number two, if they can't day trade, they give their money to someone else to day trade for them. And that's the biggest mistake you're going to make in life. I know some people are here watching the live stream right now and you're trading other people's money. Man, you got to be careful with that. Holy. So much stress. Do you think Joe Biden will have as much effect on the market like how Trump did based on Twitter? I think so. Not from Twitter, but we don't know. We don't know basically, so we're just waiting. We have no idea how that's going to have an impact on the markets, but we'll see what happens in the next coming months, like in the next 2 or 3 months. What do you think will happen to the Forex market now that Biden is president? I think the volumes are going to come back in because during this time, since November till now, there was no volume. There was literally no volume. The only volume was from the optimism of vaccines, Brexit news. That's it. That's where the volume was. Now we have some leadership behind the US dollar, and that's going to affect the yen because they're inversely proportional. It's just like safe haven. So now we can see the volume coming back up again. Biden doesn't care about Twitter. Yeah, exactly. That's true. Biden doesn't give 2 shits about Twitter. Okay, so what's this? Any advice you wish you knew before you became profitable? One thing I'm going to say, and it's the most hardest thing for people to do. And if people follow this advice to the T, I can guarantee you 110%, you're going to see some sort of consistency or some sort of profitability in the next 3 to 4 months, right? And write this down, really important. Focus on one session and focus on one pair for the next 3-4 months, and one trade, one session, one trade, one pair, and you're going to see consistency in 3-4 months. That's it. That's all what you got to do. That's what I do. That's what my mentor did. That's what people I know who are successful, they do right now, and it works. It works like a charm. There's no problem in that, which is why you can see that, like, we can show our MetaTrader 5 accounts, no problem. It works. Just one pair, one session, and one trade. That's it. You can make a lot of money doing that, but it takes time. What's a good lot size for risk management, disregarding any amount in your account? That question doesn't even make sense. I mean, what the fuck is that question, man? What's a good lot size? Can you guys read this question? What's a good lot size for risk management, disregarding any amount in your account? What? I'm not even going to go into that right now. Like, come on. What do you want me to say? Trade like a 10 lot account on a $100 account? Can't even do that. Please send me money. Oh, I think you need to ask your father for money, not me. I'm in my 3rd month of profit. Should I go for funding talent? If you've withdrawn money, yes, try it. Try it. If you're in 3 months in profit and if you've withdrawn money so far, try it. If it works, man, you're going to be really happy you did it. Trade psychology. What are 3 main things you focused on while on your way up to now? Till now. Now, what my main focus is to manage risk. That's where my focus is right now. What impresses me more about myself is if I can manage risk, that's, I think, the best thing ever. Because I've actually accepted this, that I cannot control the outcome of the market. I cannot control how much profit the market is going to give me. You need to understand this, right? We don't know how much profit the market is going to give you. But what we can control is how much risk we can put on, or how much risk we can take off. So when you can manage risk, that's something you can control. But how much profit the market is going to give you, that's something you can't control. So focus on something you can control rather than focusing on something you cannot control. Am I watching Strongman? Yeah, I'm watching Strongman. Because I'm a strong man. All right. Opinions of trading indexes, UK 130, US 30. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a little tip. And this is something that I do, right? And this tip is trading a new pair. People ask me questions about US 30 a lot, UK 100 a lot, like GER, DAX index a lot. So the one thing that you want to do at that point is you want to take a look at one instrument. And by instrument, I mean, it could be anything, currencies, stocks, crypto, indexes, whatever. Pick one thing. Once you've picked that one thing, identify what time there's volume for that instrument. Once you identify the time there's volume for the instrument, look at the charts in the past and look to see that, okay, what good move you would have taken. Because once we look at things in hindsight, they all make sense, right? In hindsight, things make sense, things look clear, so you got to look at that and you got to see that, okay, I would have taken this specific move. Right? And then break that down. Break that down into that, okay, if I would have taken this move, where would my stop loss have been? Where would my take profit have been? And where my entry would have been, right? Just identify that. Once you've identified that on the chart, draw that same thing on a piece of paper, right? Once you draw it on a piece of paper, now what you want to do is now you have to look for the same situation to happen in the next day when you come to the charts. If it doesn't happen, no problem. Wait for the next day. You come the second day. If the second day doesn't happen, it's okay. You come to the third day. When the third day that situation is happening, then you're going to know, okay, you know what? I saw this 2 weeks ago and this is happening again. So let me take a trade today. So this is the same thing that happened today in the morning on pound yen when we broke the support at 141.080 and price continued to go down. And that's something we've seen before, right? So once you start to do this, what's going to happen is that you're going to be visually drawing that thing in your mind. So when it's happening on the charts, you're going to be able to execute on it because you've seen it visually happen before. You've drawn it on a piece of paper, so it's going to hit you different. Because man, I believe if you can visually identify where candles are going to go, they will always repeat themselves, and there's a high probability that it's going to work out. Not seeing consistency, winning then losing and breaking even on account thoughts. I think this is a phase, right? People go through phases. One phase is where you're losing a lot. The second phase is where you are just at break even, right? And I was stuck at this break even stage for a very, very long time. And the way how I logically got out from that break even stage, okay, let's just put this one thing in perspective, right? You're at break-even stage, and a lot of you people, we have 420 viewers, 420. So a lot of you guys are at break-even stage, and break-even stage means that you take a trade, you win a trade, 10 pips, 15 pips, whatever, and then you take another trade, you lose a trade, 10 pip stop loss, 12 pip stop loss, whatever, you're at break-even. So you're constantly in this battle of break-even, profits, minor losses, break-even. So what I did was I logically looked at that, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Since my winners are all the same, right? Since my winners are all the same and my losing trades are the same as winning trades, what can I do now to make sure my profits go up? So the most logical thing I could do at that point was to say that, okay, maybe if I can control my losses, or maybe if I can figure out the way to close partial losses, or maybe if I could figure out a way to make sure my losses are smaller so my winners look comparatively bigger than my losses, right? Then slowly I can get out of this break-even stage. And that's what happened. During the entire 2020, I focused on how to keep my losses small. If I had a 10 lot, and if I'm risking $1,000 on a trade, I focused on that, okay, instead of losing $1,000, let's focus on losing $500 from a 10 lot. Or let's focus on losing $700 on a 10 lot. So if I'm winning $1,000 trade, and if I'm losing, let's say, a $600 trade, now I'm in net profit. So that's what I focused on, how to keep my losses small. And that's something that we're going to go over in the risk management class we're having on February 21st. Might as well throw that in, right? The link is in my bio. So that's what I did. Focused on keeping my losses small because that's something I can focus on. That's something I can control. If I can control my losses, then automatically my winners are going to look way bigger than what my losses are. What lot size is good for a $500 account? I'm not trying to blow my account. If I go in drawdown for something, what lot size is good for a $500 account? I think 5 cent lot. 5 cent is a pretty good lot size to start with. Let's see here. What time frame is the best to make entry and to set stop loss and take profit? I can only speak for myself. For myself, I think 30-minute is a really good time frame. What I do is I like to visualize where the 4-hour time frame is going to go. And if I think 4-hour time frame is going to go bullish, I look for bullish candle closes on the 30-minute time frame or 15-minute time frame. If I can get bullish candle closes on the 30-minute time frame, then I try to execute buys based on the 4-hour time frame going bullish. So those are things I really look at. Let's see here. Hey man, does Magic Key work with software FX? No, it does not work with software FX. Magic Keys don't work with software FX. Let's see here. Yes, I pay for some mentors, but I started watching you like 1.5 months ago and learned a lot. Oh, nice. Nice, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. So on YouTube live streams, we're just like your virtual mentors. For funded account programs, is it true that we must have a lot of strategies to maximize opportunities? No, it's not important. That's like saying I'm a jack of all trades, but a master of none. So if you have an arsenal of strategies which you want to use, and if you haven't mastered those strategies, it's not going to work out for you, right? And mastering a strategy means that you know how the strategy works, you know what to look for in terms of candle patterns, and once you really master a strategy, that also means that you have mastered risk management that comes with that strategy, right? So if you know, like, let's say 9 strategies or 5 strategies and you haven't mastered one of them, it's not going to work out for you. So you got to master one strategy, and that takes time, and that's where all your efforts should go into. All right, let's take some questions here, and then we're gonna get a guest on here. All right, a lot of repetitive questions here. Will you ever stop trading forex? If yes, and why? I don't know. I think forex trading has really opened a lot of doors for me in terms of financial opportunities, and I don't know. I don't think I will. I don't think I will because like it's pretty repetitive now. Like the things we do and the trades I take. If you go to my profile, you go through all the highlights of post. Most trades, what you're going to notice is that most winning trades, they're all the same. They're all the same patterns. They're all the same candle formations. They're all the same, confirmations we get on the candles. They're all the same trades. So I think it's getting easier now to spot trades. Some days there are no trades. Some days I don't take any trades. Like Monday we had a winning trade. It was a 13 pip win. Tuesday we had a losing trade. It was a 5 pip loss. Today in the morning we had a winning trade. It was a 15 pip win. Yeah, man. I mean, they're all almost the same trades, same candle formations, same confirmations we get. Okay, let's take a look here. How many accounts did you blow? I already blew like 6 and I'm scared to keep trading. I'll tell you this. When I started trading, I was profitable for the first month. I had a really good office. Like we were running a door-to-door sales office. I had around like 80,000 in savings. And by the 7th month, I blew all my savings, almost all my savings, and I had to look back and say that, okay, why was I profitable in the first 2 months and why am I losing now? And the only answer was that I was only focusing on one session. I was only focusing on one session in my first 2 months. And I was only focusing on one pair, which was USD CAD. And when I was losing, I was focusing on Asian session, London session, New York session. I was focusing on USD CAD, USD JPY, AUD CAD, AUD New Zealand, GBP JPY, GP USD. I was focusing on a lot of pairs and I was losing more. But then I was thinking to myself, hey man, listen, if I'm focusing on 3 sessions and I'm focusing on these 6 pairs, I should be winning more. But I was losing more. So I had to go back to the basics. I had to go back to one pair, one session, and one trade. And it all went really well after that. So I had to go back to the roots. How long do you believe one should be consistent before making a bigger deposit? I think it comes down to how much you believe that you can do this, right? But what I say is listen, if you're going to start with a $500 account, aim to withdraw monthly or aim to withdraw twice a week, even if it's like $50, I think if you have a $500 account, you can easily make $100 a month on a $500 account, and if you think in 3 months you can withdraw money monthly, then I think that's the point where you could say, okay, let me just up my deposit. Let me just put down $1,000 more, or let me just put down $1,500 more so that I can get bigger returns. So that's where I think it's going to be a good idea to deposit more money after you've seen some level of consistency on a smaller account. How did you lose with crypto? Man, I lost 150,000 on crypto, and the way that happened was that very interesting story. So we were with this brokerage called Quadriga FX in Canada. It was heavily regulated in Canada and North America. It was a very reputable broker, this crypto broker, Quadriga, and I deposited money over there. I wanted to keep the money over there, and long story short, they basically got shut down, and people lost $200 million, as a collective at a regular brokerage. So, regulated, unregulated, doesn't really make a difference. If they want to steal money from you, they'll steal money from you. Okay, what's this? Have you done lots of backtesting when you were first starting out? What were your takeaways? I did a lot of backtesting, and some was bad backtesting and some was good backtesting. And bad backtesting is when you go back months and months and months of data and you go over that data and you start reading it and you start identifying the trades you would have taken. And when you come to the live market, it's not the same. Your trading precision is not the same as it was when you look back at months and months of data. And the only reason why is because you're not training your mind to wait for the candles to close. Because when you're looking at the live market, when you're not backtesting, man, you're looking at the 30-minute candle forming, you're looking at the 15-minute candle forming, you're looking at the 5-minute candle forming. So consciously, you're waiting for those candles to form, you're waiting for the 5 minutes to go by, you're waiting for the 15 minutes to go by, and that's something you don't train yourself yourself while you're back testing months and months of data, because all those candles are already printed for you, right? So I believe live back testing is way better. And the way how live back testing works is that, let's say, so what I did was, like 6 months ago, I started to trade US30, and what I would do is I used to watch US30 from pre-New York till New York Open, right? And I used to watch US30 to see that, okay, is this something I can identify to take a trade? And what I found out was that during the time I was looking at US30, there was no volume in US30, right? So it didn't really work for me at that point. When I started trading GPJPY, I sat down and looked at pound yen during the New York session, and I literally found a lot of volume. And when I found a lot of volume, I found out that, okay, like, you know what? For 2 months, I looked at this pair without even trading it. For 2 months, I just looked at it to see if it even makes sense to trade it. And it made sense to trade it. You know, so I think that's a really good backtesting. Live backtesting for you to just sit and watch. Sit and watch. Just sit and watch. Watch the candles, see if they work or not, and then, like, you know, go from there. Is your lifetime mentorship still open? Yes. We did a company-wide decision to leave it open because I don't think it made sense to increase the prices and then include like a monthly charge for that. I mean, it didn't really make sense at all. So as a collective, as a company, we decided that just leave it as it is because, you know, it provides a lot of value. It's a great education. So, like, you know, we left it as it is. Oh, so you watched the charts for 2 months for one pair? That's a lot of patience, man. Listen, patience pays. I had to do that, which is why now you can see on the live stream when we take trades on pound yen, we're really confident. You know, when we take a loss, it's all okay. When we take a win, it's all okay. Because we spent that time. Are you Uncle Ted? No. Do I look like a white guy to you? Do I look like someone named Ted? Probably not. All right, let's take a look at this over here. Why did you talk bad about this morning on YouTube? He's actually a good trader and makes a lot. Okay, so what's this question here? So I'm going to debunk this question. Why did you talk bad about Anthony World this morning on YouTube Live? No. Okay. No one mentioned that name. No one mentioned that name in the live stream. It was a topic brought up that was investing in ATMs a good business, and we talked around that topic. Man, you kids need to stop throwing out names like this. There was no name mentioned. I talked to him about it, and we're all good about it. You know, all you guys are like these little aunties. You know, you have those little aunties who just like talk. You know, who misconstrued words and miscommunicate messages. That's what you guys are. You guys need to stop talking about that, and you guys need to grow the fuck up, because that's not what happened. If it did happen, the live stream is there. Send me a clip, and if someone names were mentioned, let me know. A public apology is going to come out, but there was nothing there. So you guys need to stop talk. You know, stop acting like little bitches and talk like that, because that's not how things work. All right. How do you think Forex would change with Biden in the presidential house? I'm not sure how that's going to change, but what I do know is that the volatility and volume is going to come back in the market, so that's going to be better for trading. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get some more questions here. What's your advice for people who want to start live streams like you for free? Just start, man. Just start live streams. When I started the live streams, I got a lot of backlash from the community that, oh, he's doing live streams and this and that. And man, listen, like when we first started live streams, we had like 20 viewers, 20 viewers. I remember when our viewers reached 50, we were like, oh shit, we got 50 people watching. That's amazing, and 3 years fast forward, we tap out at 3,200 people watching live. The other day I was looking at my stats, and there were like 9,500 people came in and out from the live stream, from 20 to 9,500. That's a lot, so just start, man. Start with pure intentions. Start with, also, like, sometimes people message me saying, man, hey, listen, this was the second day of us coming to your live stream. And by the end of the live stream, we were expecting a sales pitch. Can you imagine? People, they were expecting a sales pitch, and they're like, man, we were blown away. There was no sales pitch at the end. It was just straight value education, and just have pure intentions, man, and you're going to grow. That's what I found out. Just give value, and more people are going to get attracted to you. I think in this industry, there's this notion of showing a luxury lifestyle to produce sales for courses, or to show like a luxury car to produce sales for signals. I mean, it is what it is, like I've built my reputation around value and education, and that's all what I can say. All right, let's see here. Who do you keep yourself from closing? How do you keep yourself from closing a position when it comes to entry after being in a small profit? So here's the thing. When your positions go in profits of, let's say, 7 pips or 8 pips, and then after that it comes back to your entry point, what I do personally is I close out 50% of the position, right? Because the thing is, okay, here's the thing, right? Imagine this. You go to a bank to, let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say it's legal to rob banks, and let's say you go to a bank to rob a bank, right? You go to rob a bank, you're like, hey, give me the money. They give you $10, you're walking out, and then you're like, okay, hey, wait a minute. Let me just go back and get some more money. So when you go back and get some more money, they give you $10 more, and then you get caught, right? Now, either you can leave with 0, or you can stay there and risk getting caught and going to jail. That's what trading is. When you're in trading and when you're in profits about, let's say you're up $50, right? And price comes back to your entry point. What are you going to do at that point? Are you going to close 50%, or are you going to let your entire position go and draw down? So that's something you got to identify. What I do is if I go in profits of, let's say, 6-7 pips, and when price comes back to my entry point, I'm closing 50% right there. Because if I'm going to go and draw down, I'm going to make sure that I don't let my entire position go and draw down. I want to let a 50% of the position go and draw down, not the whole thing. How to discipline myself from a perfect strategy? Just focus on 1 or 2 trades, man. Raja is funny. No. I'm just real, man. Long-term investing, any index funds you suggest? Yeah, the US index outperforms everything. S&P 500 outperforms everything. It's slow, but it works, so that's what you got to look into. Okay, is trial and error a great way to learn to trade? Yes, trial and error is a great way to learn to trade. Trial and error is what made me manage risk better. Trial and error is what made me kind of like, hold positions more. Because here's the thing. Trial and error, trial is good, but error and then debugging that error are 2 different things, right? So when you make an error in the market, that means you took a trade and it was a losing trade. This is what I hate about people. What I hate about traders, well, not people, traders. What I hate about traders is when you guys take a loss, you're just like, oh man, just another loss, man. Like, I'm just always losing. Every time I take a trade, I'm losing. What are you going to learn from that loss? So when you take a loss, you need to take a look at that and see that, okay, why you took that loss? What happened? Did you miss something? Did you ignore something? Because when you don't look at those things, you're never going to learn from that. And you can do trial and error all you want, but if you're not going to learn from your loss, you're never going to move forward. So you got to have closure from that loss. Whether it's a big loss, it's a small loss, a loss is a loss. A loss means that you had bad analysis. Your analysis was garbage. It was just straight trash. So you got to look at that and say that, okay, what could I have done differently to have a winning trade? Because once you start identifying that, believe it or not, that same pattern is going to happen again. And when that happens again in the market, you're going to be more mentally prepared to execute on that. What do you think about the stock that paid dividends? I think it's pretty good. Paying dividends is like getting like a ROI, right? So I think it's still pretty good. Have you thought about making weekly podcasts on the weekend? I did. I used to post how much I made during the week, and I don't know, man, I felt like a retard going through that. Some people found value in it, but I don't know. I'll try. Once my platform is up and running, I'll try to do that. But like right now, it's just I have no time on the weekend, man. My family takes up all my time on the weekend, so I have barely any time on the weekend. But we'll try to do that. Probably early morning sometime. All right, let's get some more questions here, and then we're going to try to get a guest over here. How are you feeling on a daily basis? Some days are very overwhelming days, because when I started this journey in trading and when I started this journey in social media, I didn't know the amount of exposure I'm going to get, and this is still new for me. This was still new for me because I had to learn how to talk to an audience. I had to learn how to like, how to choose the correct words to say, because, we got a lot of assholes, some assholes on this live over here, and they try to like miscommunicate things. They try to like twist words for their own narrative. And so you got to be very careful what you say on the live stream, and you got to be very careful what you post these days, so I had to learn those things a lot, and those learning situations, they happen by trial and error, because you got to identify, man, there are like thousands of people watching you, listening to you, twisting your words and sending those words to someone else, getting people mad at you. Man, there are a lot of bitches like that, so you got to be very careful. So I had to learn. All right. How trade consistently on a 1 minute time frame? Oh, how does Jeevan trade consistently on a 1 minute time frame? So Jeevan, man, he struggled a lot in the beginning, and I saw him come up from 2018 or 2019. Yeah, I saw him coming from 2019, from 10-cent lots to $1 lots to $5 lots. Man, it was amazing how he came up. What percentage of account are you risking per trade? 1%. 1 to 2%. Can you talk about taxes and how to save money from it? The only thing I can talk about taxes is for myself, and I'm going to talk about this for myself, how I save money on taxes and how I go about my taxes in Canada. So I have my company registered for trading. This is in 2020, right? I had my company registered for trading. So that company, so the funds were being traded under that company. So whatever profits were coming in to that company, they are all taxable. That's taxable income. Now the commissions you pay to take trades, I paid around 40,000 in commissions last year, and all those commissions, they work as expenses for the company, not me, for the company. Even though I'm like one of the heads in the company, but it's still like, it's expensive for the company. And then the company hires me, Raja Banks, as a host for the New York session live streams, right? So if I spend 2 hours, 3 hours during the live streams, I bill my company those hours for X amount of dollars. Let's say I bill the company for like $50 an hour, right? So I bill my company every day for about $150 as expense. So that expense goes to the company, right? And then, we have the education side with Market Fluidity. What we do is now all the hours spent in Slack, all the hours spent in analysis, all the hours spent in coaching and making webinars, those are all billable hours that my company hires me to do. So that's another expense for the company. And then at the end of the year, the company pays me a salary, right? So last year I took like $100,000 salary. So that what the company paid me as salary. So that's also an expense for the company. So that's why I keep myself away from the company, So the company owns everything. The company hires me. So if there were no boot camps, then I don't make any money myself, because, the money all stays in the company. And people have it the wrong way. If you have capital put in a company, you just can't pull that money out and pay yourself. You can't do that, because if you do that, that's considered as cash taken out of the company, and that goes to your direct tax, so then your tax bracket goes up. And I mean, if this is all confusing, go talk to an accountant. He's going to give you some more information. Based on obviously where you live, Okay, work with Will, Russell Peter or Joko? I gotta go with my man. I gotta go with my boy, Russell Peter. I can't do Russell Peter like that. I gotta go with Russell Peter. But you are the company. No, my company is divided into, we have a director, we have shareholders, so it's like a 4-man team. The company is not me. It's a different entity, which is why it's really important to open a corporation, because if shit goes down, so no one can come for you. That's why it's important to open a corporation. If people are listening right now and you guys are trading other people's money under your name, stop it. So, stop it. Open a corporation. Because if shit goes down, and if anyone wants to come after you, they won't be able to come after you. They will come after the company, not you. So you can basically make someone else the head of the company, and they can come after them. So just remove yourself. Is it a LLC? No, it's a corporation. It's a corporation. Why is Monday and Friday bad trading days? Is it still possible to take a trade them days? Yeah, Monday and Friday are actually good days. There's some really good volume on Monday and Friday. And the reason why I say psychologically they're like bad days to trade, because normally people lose money on Mondays and Fridays. Mondays because they want to rush into the market. Mondays because they want to take a trade early. They want to show off the first trade of the week. Friday is a dangerous day to trade, because, if you've been taking losses the whole week and you come into Friday to trade, man, now you want to make your losses back. Not going to happen. So that's why it's a difficult, a dangerous day to trade. So for FTMO, they pay our company. I don't deal with FTMO. I don't know how that works with our company or whatever the case is. I don't know that stuff. What was like when you first started? When I first started out, I'll tell you this. I first started. I had a friend. Well, we had one of our agents, right? And he joined this MLM company called the Wealth Generators. And he told me about it, because I was his manager. He told me about it. I'm like, oh, wealth generators? So they do what? They generate wealth? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, listen, go knock on that door. And that door is going to generate wealth for you. There's no need to look at that. And then, I was like, whatever, And then a month later, he came back and he's like, hey, man, look how much money I made. All you got to do is just plug in these numbers in your MetaTrader and then you're going to make money. And I was a smart guy. I was like, no, man, that's no way it's going to work. I mean, why should I depend on an expert who's going to give me a signal to do this for me? I'm like, what if the expert dies tomorrow? Then what? Who's going to be the expert? So I'm like, okay, let me be an expert. Let me learn how to do this. So I opened my first account. So actually I opened a demo account and then I started trading on a demo account. Obviously I made money on a demo account. And then I started my $200 account. I lost that account in a week. And then I signed up with Ted. I took his mentorship. And I remember the first week we were trading USD CAD. There were sells. So I took sells on USD CAD. I don't know why we were selling. All I knew that the candle was at resistance and we had to sell because the 1 hour candle closed bearish. That's all I knew. So I sold. It was a $700 account and that one trade took the account to $1,100. And I was like, oh, nice. That's pretty sweet. Made $400 today. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. So at that point I knew that, okay, if I can make $400 once, right? If I can make that once, I can make that 1,000,000 times over. That's what I understood with that. My first profitable trade, I understood that if I can do it once, I can do it 1,000,000 times over. But all I had to do was manage risk. That's it. And then it was game time after that. What's the time right now? Oh, it's 10:10. All right, so we're going to take like one last question and then we're going to call it a day over here. Okay, is it a good idea to open up a new account under corporation or stick with the personal tax viewpoint? I think open up account, like if you're making, so if your income from trading is exceeding your primary income, it's better to open an account under a company name, right? So that whatever profits you make from that, you get some sort of tax benefits from that, right? But if you're withdrawing, now I don't know how these tax rules work in different countries or different states, but I think different places have different rules for capital gains, right? In Canada, if you're making capital gains on like a personal level, it's like a 40% tax on 50% of the capital gains or something like that. But if it's on a company, it's a little bit different. So you gotta look into that with your accountant. Why didn't you make the risk management course for free like the Forex 101? The reason why I didn't make that risk management course for free is because it's going to be a virtual class. I'm going to be presenting that class on a whiteboard and my company, Market Fluidity, is hiring me for that. And basically, hey, like, you know what? It's work. It's $50. It's not that much. So for $50, your risk management, you're going to learn some new things about risk management, and I think it's completely worth it. Why is Monday and Friday? Oh, we already answered this question. So let's see here. How do you keep the sun from closing position when it comes to entry? Oh, we also answered the question over here. All right. Let's see here. Just want to say God bless you for helping others. Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And with this last statement, we're going to leave. But before I leave, I'm going to tell you this little story why we started the live streams. And the one reason why we started the live stream were because when I first started trading, I used to ask questions to Instagram gurus, which are still here now, and I would get no reply from them. No one would reply to me. No one would like my message. And all they would say is that, hey, buy my course and then you're going to know what we talk about. And to me, that was like a little bit disrespectful. And the reason why it was a little disrespectful was because if I'm taking my time asking you a question, answer that question with something relatable, like don't just say go buy my course. So what I said to myself was, listen, if I get good enough if I get good enough to a point where people start looking up to me, I'm going to start something which is going to help people who cannot afford education. So that's why we started the live streams. Excuse me. And that was the whole reason we started the live stream, because I thought about this. Okay, if we start the live streams, and if someone can be helped, or if someone's out there in the same shoes where I was when I first started, they would have an avenue to go to where they can learn, they can ask questions, they can send charts. And that's the whole reason we started the live streams, right? And now you see there are a lot of live streams. There are free live streams, there are paid live streams, just because we paved the way for these live streams, and that was the whole reason, because we wanted to give back to the community. Because without the community, I'm what I am because of you guys. Like, you guys show love, you guys follow me, you guys share my posts, you guys share the live streams, and this is why we are where we are. My voice is going right now, so thank you for coming on. I know some bitches are still here. They will like twist words and send these words to some people. Man, I don't care about you bitches, man. It's all okay, because we all live our life perfectly. All right, take care, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at the New York Kitchen live streams. Adios.